is not only just like normal, it's erotic as well.
Do you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
I don't understand.
That's disgusting, though.
I think it classes with.
No, because how can you be eating and
Nah,
man.
We don't shame people's.
We don't shame kinks here.
No, okay, sorry.
You don't shame kinks?
No, but that's.
Kinks haven't get shamed.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
No, to be fair, if there's anyone that will king shame here, is him.
Yeah.
Really?
100%.
Yeah, because he's very. In fact.
Wait. The way he's...
No, that's not our man.
This banger guy.
She said, no, that's not my man.
This banger guy. No, but I mean, you know, some kinks are a bit strange.
I think a lot of kinks are strange. Don't get it
but do what makes you happy.
I don't understand ASMR.
Wait, what exactly is a kink? Just for clarification, because in case I'm thinking of something different.
1 second.
That's the thing though, because normal is subjective.
Yeah.
So you can't say.
Wait, when did you start recording?
I just
That was the whole point.
Got you fucking.
Because I was about to say some mad stuff.
No, seeds, go on.
No, I'm not saying mad stuff, but was I gonna? You said what's a kink?
Yeah,
I think it's on. I don't know. I think it's on the line of like fetish. It's just like specific things that people like. And
so are like fetishes and kinks the same thing?
I don't think they are. You know, but I think they're
I
around.
don't know.
I'll put them.
1 second. Let me define. Let me see. Let me find definition of what kink is.
I would say a kink is anything. I was gonna say anything extraordinary that, let's say, sexually turns someone on.
Yeah, but then like.
But what is extraordinary then?
That's subjective.
Because there's things that people do today that back in the day would have been like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like you see people
what I mean?
talking about like spitting their mouths a lot more regularly and stuff like that. I don't know if that's a kink. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I'll classify it as a kink though.
Oh, is it?
I'll classify it as a
My point
kink.
is, I'm just saying like that was weird before.
But, okay, let me
now
rephrase.
I see a lot of people talk about that.
I'll
like
say
it's normal.
anything that's out of the tradition of what traditional sexual activity. So all of that spit in the mouth is not seen as the traditional stuff. That's something that's coming there.
But then also these concepts of kink and fetish are problematic
What?
What sense?
because they're entrenched by patriarchy. Because a lot of things.
Whoa!
They are.
Break it down.
Break it down.
Ez is cooking.
She
Do you know what it is?
went for the jugular.
Do you know what it is?
I ain't even seen the link, but
Okay, let me explain. So, there's obviously when it comes to sex, there's a whole world of sex and politics, sexual politics. Bengo, are you talking about me? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. There's obviously like, you know, in the car we were talking about like prostitution and stuff. So there's a whole world of sexual politics, and basically, a lot of sex and like gendered politics talks about the fact that we restrict women's like sexual liberation as a form of oppression. Okay. On the other side, we also restrict the men's because in our definition, men have to be a certain way. They need to be manly, etc., etc. So like in certain things would come out of that.
There's a certain funny thing that came to my head.
No, I just want to know. So like, how is kink a form of oppression? And that's
No, I didn't say it's a form of oppression. But those ideas can be entrenched in patriarchy. But most ideas are entrenched in patriarchy.
True.
That is true.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
So, yeah.
You ain't lying.
Just to say that obviously if you like something, the world might deem it as, oh, that's weird, but why is it weird if you like it? Do you get what I mean?
Oh, okay, that's where you're coming
They're
from.
trying to say because it's weird for a man to do
Yeah,
that.
it's
do you get
weird.
what I mean?
Based on how people see men.
Then they might start questioning your sexuality.
Reality,
Are you sure you're not bi?
now
You
you're
sure you're not
spitting.
gay? You sure you're not? Do you get what I mean? Just because you like doing certain things out
Fair
of the
enough.
quote unquote norm.
True.
I feel like that's just always gonna be it. Like
Yeah.
the moment you try and break away from the norm.
I think
do you know what I'm saying? Like,
so over time, you don't think is a thing that it will gradually begin to, let's say, dissolve into what the idea of normality will begin to dissolve into a.
No, I don't think it ever changed. I just think
You don't think it ever changed?
No, I just think you have to kind of adapt your social circle.
No, I think like even the idea of how sex is viewed by our generation now, I think even that's been adapted, and that's been is a flow of water that's continuously moved.
Do you really think that's been adapted, or we've just grown older?
I think it's been adapted. Well, both work hand in hand. Because what do you call it? Even like the idea of oral sex for a man to give oral sex to a female. Back when it was kind of deemed whoa.
Yeah, but that's what I keep on saying. I think that was just a thing that we were youngins, bro. Because there were elders that spoke about it to me, but I just thought that you men are bugging. Do you get it? But that's because I was a youngin. That's because I was a youngin.
Yeah, I get it.
And then I grew up.
But I don't think it's just solely linked. I don't think it's solely linked on that
in
idea.
general culture,
Yeah.
like our culture around them times there, it's still, even though there might have been people that was doing it, that accepted it socially, just in general, it wasn't accepted. Even in the older ones, because that's the only reason why bowcat could be used as
that type of
as in like you
Okay,
could
it was like an insult
yeah,
type of thing.
like
the
your
reason why
bowcat sharp. Do you know what I mean? Like you're less of a man because you're pleasing a woman orally.
Yeah.
the reason why I think, like, let's say I've linked the two is obviously because as time goes, we grow older by default. So when you basically merge the two, in your head you've said, okay, because you've now grown mature, the idea of what a bowcat is has kind of changed. Whereas really and truly, it's more not necessarily. It's a bit of a maturity as well, but it's more based on the idea that socially people have
Things
moved,
have changed,
things have changed.
Yeah, and
Kind of thing.
there's people that are just more like, in general, it's more attractive to say that you're not vanilla now. So it's like there's
Like
people
the
lying
idea of a
about things
freak.
like that. Listen,
The idea of a
tie me
freak,
up.
Yeah, I'm a freak. I'm
Listen, give me all that smoke. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like now you can be like, I'm a thot. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? It's
Now
more.
the freaky you are, the better type of thing,
Yeah.
innit?
Yeah. Whereas in the past, it's like it was like
But who
it was the
though?
other way.
Who can be freaky?
I think it's still
I
guys.
think it's still a bit.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's still
think it's
guys.
women. I think it's both. Don't get me wrong, it's guys as well. But the way you just said that is like
who can be freaky? As in men are allowed to be freaky or women are allowed to be freaky?
No, you guys are saying that it's more acceptable now. It's more cool.
That's so who's it more acceptable for?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still more accessible for
man,
guys,
innit?
but
I think definitely
women.
more. I think men definitely more than women.
sure.
But
Yeah.
women has still, let's say, come a long way from
What it used to be.
previously.
Yeah.
So even like I want Megan Thee Stallion, I want Hot Girl Summers, just all of that. That stems from the Hot Girl Summers.
I'm done.
I think it's still looked at weirdly if men are freaky
You think so?
more than women. I think it's looked at.
I get what you're saying, but I think it depends what type of kink.
I'll give you two examples. So like you see when people were still calling people bowcat,
Yeah.
Skepta was rapping about like eating pum. And he wasn't getting any flack. He was still the cool Skepta.
No, but that's
like
Skepta.
when everyone exactly the fact that you can
Yeah.
say that, the fact that you can say that, do you know what I mean, it means something. But at the same time, OG Nikki was going on about saying all the things she was doing, la 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 da da da, and like we remember, there was this whole.
He put la 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 in there so effortlessly.
Go ahead.
Yeah. OG Nikki was going on about this, and even though like she was the first of our own
our
side of
time,
things to be
yeah.
like sexually liberated like that, and say she was, what did she say? She was doing 4 man at a time or whatever.
I
And
think it was 6.
6 man. But remember then there was that time
you didn't have to
in like
correct the number like that.
like
You actually did have to correct the
I
number like
think
that.
011.
I'm not putting it. I'm not putting it.
Remember,
I'm saying
there
in
was
ends,
that
that was
011,
Oh,
011, 012 on Twitter. Then there was this trend like
think I was on Twitter sometimes, you know.
not like Nicky Bro we were, because that's when Snipball came out and said he is definitely not beating OG Nicky, because there was like remember them times then the hashtags used to trend. That's what used to trend. So it was like
trying to remember.
I think it was like freak like Nicky or your girls like freak like Nicky. Either way, everyone was trying to. It wasn't exactly slut shaming, but in a way it was like,
Trying to detach
I won't
yourself
be with
from
my
that.
girl if she's like OG Nicky and stuff. So like,
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I remember
so that was back in them times there, and it was still easier for a guy to say he was doing certain things than girl. And then even now where we are now, it's the same. It's still easier for, even though like we're getting to the point where like they're more liberated and they can say more stuff. It's still easier I feel like it's way more easier for a guy to say what he's doing. In general,
I'm a bit here there.
I'm more so in relation to kinks. Yeah, that's what I'm on about. I think it's looked at weirder for a guy to be sexually explored. Like I feel like you can kind of.
I got what you mean.
Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like
Me too, I get what you're saying.
if girls are saying like if you meet a girl and she says she's freaky and she's on whatever, that's kind of like a turn on. But if a guy says like you still get man that say like he likes his arse eating, that's like a. Yeah, that's like a weird thing for a brother to be with that. You get what I'm saying?
So here's the thing. So what's happened here is that you see where if a girl plays around the lines of sexuality, I think it's more allowed. I think, and then
I think it's always been like that. And man, them fetishize lesbians. And
exactly. So like, but like if a guy does it, it's not as accepted in our like in culture and whatever. But like. A guy, wait. But like you see, a guy is still more allowed to be kinky as long as he doesn't play with that line. The minute he starts playing with that line in our culture, it's like
because for me, I don't associate the two together at all. So even when my guy said,
I've separated them.
Yeah, so when my guy said, I get my ass eaten, obviously the first thing that let's say man then will come to their heads. It
I can't believe we're talking about this.
it will be that.
Man just bare said, ask eating.
I'm about to say this.
This is a mature platform. This is a mature platform.
I mean,
What do you call it? Stop it.
okay.
If some certain man talk about getting the ass eaten, obviously to other man it would be they're doing fluidity or they're down low.
I wouldn't say that's
or something.
fluidity. Do you know why I wouldn't say it's fluidity though? Because if a guy is getting his ass eaten by a girl, like what line is he moving away from there?
No, but
it's not dealing with a guy.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, go on.
Because for us, I think that we've now adopted that type of mind frame that let's say sexual kinks or certain sexual activities, not necessarily like
playing with the line.
Because a lot of people get the idea of homosexuality mixed up with
sexual acts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. Homosexuality is the attraction to another gender. For that's understanding, I assume. Yeah. Whereas again, like you said, if my guy is getting his ass eaten by a woman, how is that necessarily fluid? But obviously certain men don't. We haven't made.
They don't see it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a funny. I'm busting out, but I don't know if I can say it on camera. We might have to edit this out, innit?
Cool.
It might not even be as funny to you, innit? Yeah, but I was actually chatting to one of my bros yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, how he got his ass eaten." He was like, no, he was on the stage of getting his ass eaten, and he said that she licked the rim. And he was like, he had to stop her there because he was enjoying it too much. He said,
that's a prime example.
He said,
that's a prime example.
He said, no, let me finish. He said the reason he had to stop was because he knew it's a slippery slope to go down, and the moment you enjoyed the ass eating too much, it's only a matter of time before she puts dildos and
that's what I say. So for my guy there,
I'm not saying because we spoke about it yesterday and I did not think we done
It's just funny, yeah.
He was like, he's on the bed getting hand. He's just like, stop. Like,
do you know what's funny? Yeah,
stop.
because this is literally masculinity.
Yeah.
It's what I mean. It's so. I think girls fast toxic. I wouldn't say it's toxic. Do you know why?
If he likes it, he's stopping himself doing something that he enjoys, that he likes, with someone that maybe he loves. Obviously, I don't know his relationship.
Same way.
But just because, I don't want to get to the point where she could be putting things in, and then now I'm gay.
Guys, he's allowed to move as he wants.
Yeah, but he's not doing it because he wants to. He's doing it because
you are not really allowed to go around what his reasons are or whatever, because that's his reason. But like, you need to realize that, like, because of what sex is and like exploring your sexuality in general, you can't dictate to anyone what's comfortable to them or not. People come to those understandings themselves. In general, it's a journey.
The whole comfortability thing,
because he thinks it's a slippery slope, does not mean he's not gonna fall down it.
Yeah, but that's besides the point. That's not the point.
It's the reason why I'm pointing this out is because I said that is masculinity, and she said that was toxic.
But when I
toxic
said toxic masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
you think I'm talking about him being toxic, right?
No. I think you're saying that it's toxic for him to stop himself from enjoying that.
It's not
in that way.
That's just toxic. What toxic masculinity is literally like a political framework, just to say that idea that he's like portraying is actually bigger than himself. That's literally it.
Fair enough.
Do you get what I mean? It's not about his
him
case.
specifically.
Yeah,
fair enough. I can see how it is under it. But I'm on the other side saying at the same way, he can be uncomfortable with that, and that's completely okay.
That's completely
fine.
okay. But even for him, his reasoning behind it is a very vital point for Wade. So even the whole, I said it's toxic. Okay, what she said, I agree with. But even him himself, that's almost a toxic trait, because he's deemed it. He's blurred the lines between homosexuality and sexual acts. So wait,
I wouldn't go that far. I think it's just not completely. He's not completely comfortable around the idea of penetration, because he relates penetration to something else in it. Yeah.
So what?
But
exactly? That's the point.
Again, because it is a sexual journey, he is allowed to have that.
But I think what Gabriel's saying is he could have just had a good ass licking session and enjoyed it and gone home. Sorry, his mind, he could have had that and enjoyed it and been calm. But his mind straight away went to, do you know what? Let me stop what I'm enjoying right now.
Okay. You're not gonna like how I'm gonna like in this, because there is no way, this happens to a girl, and it's not the other side we're taking.
What do you mean?
If a man says he's uncomfortable with stuff, No matter where he thinks it's gonna lead, he's uncomfortable with it. We should be allowed to just seal it there.
There's not a problem with him being
I'm just talking about
uncomfortable.
the reasoning.
The reason behind it is-
And what man's saying is like, man's not really allowed to go and be talking about like that's his reason in it. But calm,
Yeah, that's
like
fine.
like you're not allowed to be like, he could have just gone and enjoy it. Like, what do you mean? Like he was enjoying it. Yeah. But that was the barrier to which he could have taken it, and that's okay.
No one said that's not okay.
You're gonna follow my point.
Okay, go
He could have
ahead.
continued to enjoy it, and he shouldn't have likened it to something else. But he did, and that's fine. Like that should not be questioned.
No, it's not being questioned though.
I think
That's
fine.
fine.
I feel like
Okay,
the fact
do you
that
know
we're
what
still
it is?
talking about this, it
No, I
definitely
get-
is.
No,
being
but
questioned.
I get your
you're not digesting. You're not digesting
I
my
get,
point.
I get exactly what he's saying.
Digestion. We're talking about.
I'm done.
In 4K now. In 4K. In actually 4K.
Digestion.
She said,
I listen.
what
Everyone
you're
can
saying,
hear
though.
the amazing voice of our guest here, so I'm just gonna intro us so we know who is here. So let's go. Yeah. You're now locked into the Unfiltered podcast, a podcast where we talk about life, relationships, and dilemmas. On the pod today, we've got
David.
and then we've got an amazing guest in the house.
Ezzy Prose.
And then you got and then we got Kola in the building today. What's everyone saying? How's everyone doing?
Good.
Yeah, let's start with Ezzy. Go on.
Tell me right.
Go and expand.
She said she's good.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a lie you
cold. I didn't expect it to be that cold. Obviously, have you guys been at home, working from home?
Yeah.
So I haven't really been like going out and stuff. So when I
Oh
stepped out,
it's
it was
cold.
freezing.
Oh, okay,
Like,
that's what you mean. That's what you mean.
so cold.
Fair
Do you
enough.
look like the snow?
No.
No, now as an adult now.
It's
because
inconvenience
it's
now, isn't it? But when you were younger,
Yeah, 'cause
snow
this guy
days,
kept on talking about snow.
school council and
Do you know-
This
is
guy
it?
didn't want to come out today. He kept
Really?
on mentioning to us,
If it was up to me,
Then
yeah.
again, when does Jill wanna come out? to do the pod.
That's another
to do the pod.
I can't take offense because it's true. I don't like leaving my house. I don't like leaving my house. When I saw the snow, especially on my road, it was kind of a thing like, you know when you could smell the car problem. I can already, I could smell the clutch burning. I just said, is it worth? Easy though, easy actually, easy though.
But to come and talk about us eating, definitely.
lol.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And the political implications.
Yeah, the political implications
Of
of
us
it.
eating.
How you doing, Dave? How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm just out here, man. Same old.
Well, you looking wavy still.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I
looking-
had to try sauce on you.
Yeah, moving like some again, looking like an MDV model.
No, I just came to try, you know. have a look
Yeah,
on you,
like
man.
what?
Yeah.
What? Is Nike sponsoring you, bro?
No.
You sure?
No.
Fair
You're
enough.
the stylist. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa. Whoa.
Are you a stylist?
Yeah, I do.
Really? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Tell me more. Deep, I'm now interviewing him.
you
on this
interviewing
episode.
him?
Go on.
Ezzy said this is my pod now.
Why do I guess always dance?
I know, like,
Say it, dance.
do you know what it is? I feel like, you know what, you're just those comfortable guys, those guys that's just got
true.
that what's the word?
Right.
Oh, what's the word? Words escape me. When you've got a certain it's not that. It'll come to me later on. But when you've got a
Just give a certain energy. Yeah.
like people just feel comfortable around you.
Definitely.
I feel like you felt that around us already.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't give those.
The RC really helped,
I think
open the
Okay,
barriers.
I'm just
Big
gonna.
man, we've moved past that.
I'm
No,
going
because when
to
he did it,
draw.
it was okay. So when I do it, it will also be okay.
I'm going to draw a line here, guys.
What's the matter with you?
Yo, it is not okay.
just
For the rest of the pod,
yeah, let's try it. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
abandon that shit right
Yeah,
now.
as happy as we are for everyone to explore whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, go to the moon and back. Do you know what I mean? Let's just leave this RC eating out of it. Yeah.
So go on.
Like, gosh.
Before we get into anything, 'cause I wanted to bring up something. Because I wanted to get you lots of opinion on it. Actually, I was listening to a pod the other day. It was the Real Talk Boys. I think that was.
Oh, I love them. Shout
Oh, you
out
know
to
them, man.
Mars
Yeah,
with-
really good podcast actually. And then they had a woman on, and then she was speaking about how she has an accountability partner to help her keep track of her goals and everything. I can't remember her name, so I can't give her a shout out.
Is that Itunu? Itunu speaks. Maybe.
Might be right. She went Loughborough.
No, I don't know then. Maybe.
I can't remember the name in it, but she had an accountability partner, which I thought was a really cool and sick thing. And I just wanted to raise the point because I just wondered, like, because I felt like that was a sick thing, but I felt like that is a thing that works I could be wrong, works well amongst women.
Mm.
So I wanted to see what you, man, which everyone's thoughts were actually on the idea of an accountability partner, because I felt like, how would that work amongst man then? Having an
I've
accountability
had that
partner?
at different points.
Have you?
I think
for years.
I think it depends on the relationship between man them, innit? I think even like, let's say,
Flops with man them.
you think it floats around them?
That
I don't
was
agree.
slightly my thinking,
I don't
but I'm
agree.
not sure, innit?
Because if it's a thing like,
Because sorry to interrupt you before you finish, but she was just saying there was a thing where her and her girl were just checking on each other and just be like, I want to quote her, but I can't exactly remember, but I'm paraphrasing, but it was along the lines of, they shared with each other what their goals were, and then obviously like her friend might just G-check on a certain day, like, you're not doing enough to get towards your goal. Do you get what I'm saying? But in my head, I just imagined, like, how is that working amongst mandem? Because initially, like Colin, I thought that might flop amongst mandem. But yeah,
I think it depends on the level of relationship between and the way in which you, let's say, check your boy. So even amongst, let's say, our man them, even Nicole included, I think if we're, let's say, in bit.
Don't continue. Don't. I understood what you were doing.
Let's say you're in business with some of your man them, yeah.
The way he did that was dumb, but yeah, go on.
Even if you're in business with some of your man them, yeah, you all have a mutual goal. So that's, let's say you all have a mutual goal, and then you all, let's say, give out pieces of responsibility to one another. Even in that instance, that can also be a form of accountability partnership.
Yeah, but you're talking about that more from business.
Yeah, I'm talking.
So
but
they both have something to benefit from in that instance.
But okay, true. But I wanted to try and give let's say, paint a picture that we both understood from. But let's take out the business aspect of it. Even in our batch, it will be a case where let's say, I'm trying to give you an example. Let's say it was a case where I'm trying to touch uni, or I'm trying to do my doctorate or something, and I've expressed to you, and certain circumstances like this has occurred even between us three. I'm trying to do my doctorate and I need to apply for so uni, or I need to meet so deadline, etc., and I've explained that achievement or that goal to you, man. You, man, would often check on me and say, how far are you with this, etc., and that's what I'm saying. I think it both depends on the level of the friendship and also the method used in order to G-check. So you checking up and saying, have you done this? Even me as an individual, or me as a man saying, no, I haven't done this. Me admitting that I haven't done something, it will almost kind of, let's say, G-check myself and kind of be like, I don't have to be saying no to these.
The only one thing I'll say in rebuttal to that is that is coming. I feel like the accountability partner thing, obviously they naturally have a friendship to it, yeah. But I feel like once you place that role and responsibility, like this is what you have to be doing, it becomes a bit different. Okay. Because my point is, us checking on you, we're doing that from a friendship point of view. Of like, you're like my brethren, like is to get when you together. But now we put a title on that. When you now it's kind of like
when you've labelled it, even going back to a sense of G-checking or checking up. Let me not say G-checking. Checking up and saying, have you done this? Now that you've put a label on it, it might be deemed in a that's toxic actually, as in toxic masculinity. But that's another. It might be deemed in a
buzzword today, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be deemed. Them come to check on you might be deemed hostile or lack of, what's the word? Lack of. I don't know how to say that. I was going to say empathy, but that's not the right word. It's not coming from a sense of care. It's coming from a sense of duty, or even a superiority complex. So, but again, obviously, how they perceive it again depends on their friendship and depends on how the person's come to them. But yeah,
I was going to talk about my experience. I feel like it's easier for me to find them to have a male mentor and a female accountability partner, in the sense that like I've been accountable. Someone's been another male has been accountable for me for like a stretch of a year. And we kind of kept it okay, but where we're friends, it slipped a little bit, but we kind of kept it good. For stuff like gym, which is probably toxic masculinity. For stuff like gym, me and them, I think second year of uni, the man them, we were very accountable to each other for gym. Like, if you like, it's like you were benching 30 last week. You're still benching 30 because
that's even a good one.
Because you missed 2 days. You're not getting big without the work. Like, pattern up. We used to be brutal. Like, two of us is very, with Mandem, is very abusive. Two of us will be in the gym, and then there's one person like him, like, why were you sleeping? You're a little dickhead. Get to the gym now. That's the year we saw the most growth.
No, I think if you guys have a
crazy.
you're in trouble.
But
We've had fights over this.
yeah, but
We've had fights.
Come back here. Where are you going?
But shout out my boys Active and AO. Yeah, see, it was crazy because it's that year we very much likened that discipline to other things that we wanted to achieve at that time at uni, and a lot of people did not know this. We don't really speak on this that much, but like a lot of the things that we went on to be at uni, we planned off of the kind of discipline we had in first year of uni. So like that was the year that I went on to do up ACS president. That was that year, like AO done two. Went from like doing just he did a good amount of open mics and stuff that opened him up in Leicester at the time, and we went on to do like another show that was organized by someone, and a live show that we organized by ourselves. Like Active ended up establishing himself as a DJ like in Leicester at the time. So do you know what I mean? Like it was.
He's great. He DJ'd at one of my house parties.
Listen.
That's what
See Active, yeah. See Active, yeah. Another level, but that's what came out of that. But it's the reason why I say it's easier. Like for some reason, we went on to live together, and it was harder for us to do that to each other. Yeah. Like the familiarity for some reason just meant that we allowed ourselves to sleep. I think we thought living together would even be harder on each other, but for some reason, I don't know, like we slipped. And there was so many times in that year when we lived together where like there was G-checking and stuff, but we weren't as accountable to each other. I don't know, there's other factors obviously, but I've just found it's most and also like the other times when I've had with girls, I feel like again, it's for me. It's me in general. It's not just all, I don't know about all guys or all males, but I feel like where girls can be so consistent, and you know that that's what they're doing it for. Maybe hearing it from a guy to be like, "Have you done this?" Maybe it cuts a little deeper. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Or the fact that
do you know what it is, David? Do you want to say? Do you want the honours?
No, go on.
Go on.
No, she's talking about our buzzword. Go on, say the buzzword. Say the buzzword.
Yeah, say this.
Go on.
Again, it might be that. It might again.
Masculinity.
It might be that. It might not. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, but I feel like we might not always have seen our friendships or our relationships with guys to look like that. So we've not, where it's not something where.
Do you know that's so deep? Where you're just what you're saying right now.
Yeah, where
especially as a black man saying that you're not used to your friendships or relationships between black men looking like that is very deep.
Yeah, it's crazy. So where it doesn't, where somebody's not asking me about like what I've done to sort of better my ego. So where they're not being like, oh, why have you not done this? But we both said we was going to look big. Like, do you know what I mean? What? Come to the gym now. Like, where it's not that, where it's something more like, it's not something that's around your masculinity and strength and man. For some reason, we don't like in our relationships to have that. But the truth of the matter is that there's so many men that do. Yeah. There's bare men that do.
So do you know what it is, yeah? The way I see it, and I'm not going to articulate as well as you do, yeah? But like, one of the things that me and my friends deep, like a lot of the time with Mandem, when you're checking on Mandem, there reaches a point where you just go, you know what, he's a man at the end of the day. I got to leave him to do his thing. You almost reach that point where, because I live with my brothers in second year, innit? And then we would constantly get onto one of our brothers about doing these assignments. Yeah, you two know who I'm on about, innit? Yeah, I think you even know him actually. But anyway,
oh my god.
No, but anyway, it doesn't matter, innit? But my point was, yeah, it got to a stage where we were like, yo, do this, and it was like we were checking him for his well-being. Yeah, because you know, we don't want him to fail. But it got to a certain point where we were just like, you know what, as a man, this is something that clearly we cannot influence you to do. Yeah. Us checking on you isn't enough. So you need to take that responsibility and do it upon yourself. And you almost reach a point, I feel like with men, you almost reach a point where you feel like I just got to step off and just let him figure this part himself.
But do you feel like accountability partners, stress on the partners, works better when you're partners and you both have to be accountable for each other rather than, because I'm glad you made the distinction between a mentor and an accountability partner, because like you said, one of you mentioned about superiority complex. I feel like putting that duty on someone, like you said, might for some reason start, or there might be a bit of tension or superiority complex there. But I feel like when you're both accountable for each other, to each other, maybe, I don't know, do you think
there's equal footing
almost.
There's equal footing
almost. In the specific instance I'm on about, I feel like we were partners rather than there shouldn't have been a superiority complex only because we were both in the same situation. Okay. In terms of that, uni and same year. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, let's say I was a third year and I was speaking to a second year, maybe I would understand from that
Okay,
perspective.
yeah.
But that's I get your point.
Okay.
Yeah, where I've had mine, it's been both as well.
But I was gonna say, but I think even like with what you just said, I think you can easily slip into so let's say you're both have a mutual beneficial situation, you're both taking accountability for each other, doing whatnot to make sure each one's okay. The moment, so like in your situation, let's say that's what it was in the beginning. The moment one person starts to slip or deems is doing not as much as they're supposed to, whereas you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing to pattern, that superiority complex starts to root itself in that thing.
But then
or maybe from their own insecurity.
Exactly. It's a very personal thing as well. We can't take out the factor that it depends the kind of personality.
Yeah.
There's certain things that Dave can say to me, like, because at the end of the day, it's for my own good. He will say it, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm being shit to a certain extent, he can say to me that, do you know what I mean? Like, he can. I don't even doubt there's anything. We're coming here today. He's definitely said something to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, but there's certain people that he wouldn't do that to because he probably just thinks they probably can't take it, or maybe you don't feel like. And I guess if you're choosing an accountability partner and you really want it to work, not because you're trying to do it because everyone else is doing it, you have to have that kind of relationship where you both have to be very, very like real with each other when everybody's you have to actually really want success. And that's the other thing. I didn't really want to attribute what I was saying, not like the whole thing of not wanting to be accountable to just because I feel like in culture in general, what I represent as a black young guy, I'm allowed to a certain extent to be unaccountable about different things in my life and get away with it. And that's the truth and everything. There's loads of stuff that I can cover up, I can get away with and still be unaccountable. Like, I don't have to be. You
have to give me an example because right now, in the way my head is doing,
I can. There's different things I can say, like, but like, I hate coming back to peas a lot, but I can cover a lot as long as I have peas.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing.
Okay, go on.
I can, like, again, like, there's loads of different black men. I don't want to. This is gonna sound so bad.
Unfiltered, run it, man.
Like, I can be an irresponsible father and get away with it to a certain extent. Now, not with you, man, but I'm just saying in general as the demographic that I represent.
Because that's the stereotype of the black guy.
Exactly. So like it's that, and there's so much around that, But I said all this to bring the point that there is the other far end as well. There's loads of successful men that come from exactly where I've come from, that are raised in the same kind of homes that I've come from, and it's just the kind of values that they've embraced, aside from what they've actually been raised with, means that they're on the other side of things. So like they can be very, very accountable. They can their integrity, honest. There's a massive pool of them,
you sit down in that circle and your excuses aren't enough.
And you see them, and you see them successful at the same time. Do you know what I mean? They're at the top of everything. So I just didn't want to attribute what I said earlier on too close to being my demographic. Like even though we're allowed to, I know bare man. I know, I knew bare man that was successful at uni doing parties. Listen, I'll even shout them out. I'll shout the BXB lot, that like, but it's just the way they ran stuff and how they saw themselves. It meant that they grew in a certain way, like their business grew, and you don't get that kind of growth, that kind of thing without it being deliberate and not choosing certain values of being accountable. Because what literally, this is how it works. If I say if me and you are doing business now, me and Dave doing business now, and like I was meant to put something out yesterday and I didn't put it out yesterday, and then like Dave has come to me, Dave has chased me all of yesterday to put it out, I didn't do it. And then if today he chooses that, that's just, I guess I'm just going to have to accept color for that, it's a different attitude and a different kind of expectation if every day you're coming to me saying, it's not out yet. I don't care, it's not out yet. Do you know what I mean? After a week of that, I know that if I promise you next week, like, I've got to do that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if I say I'm doing something, you're not letting off because it is getting done. And that's what separates, like, a lot of success from...
A lot of it.
Sorry, I'm doing bare preaching. But you get what I mean?
I want to hear...
Yeah, before we get into Ezzy, I want your thoughts on, like, accountability partners for both men and women.
I don't know. Like, I think it can definitely work well for men. I think one thing I was going to say is, I know men can be a lot harsher with each other, which I think can work potentially better than with women, because... Not all women, but a lot of us sometimes we don't like to be too mean or too harsh or too
aggressive.
Do you get what I mean? Aggressive. So Yeah, I can't say if it would work better with men or women. I know women, like, when they want to do something, they're going to do it, same as men. So I guess it just goes back to your personality and what type of person you are. Are you going to be the person that makes excuses or...
What's your experience?
I was about to say, have you ever been in that type of situation?
Have I ever had someone that I'm accountable to? Yes, but it's never been reciprocal, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So in each situation, either I'm responsible for the person or they're responsible for me. So it's either like a mentor kind of vibe or just a friend that I'm making sure, you know, is like being patterned. So I can't say I've ever had an experience of it being reciprocated. But for me, it's always been with black women, purely because I feel like they understand my experience in the world and therefore it would be better for me to, you know, even though I will say, I think black men obviously face like different issues in the world, so sometimes it can be really good to have like a black man's input. Obviously you guys face issues like in a completely different way to us, so the way black men can be kind of harsh sometimes, a bit rough around the edges, can also help in terms of being accountable. But what I will say is I feel like with that whole thing, sometimes people end up doing things A, because they don't want to look like a bum, or B, because they're trying to keep up with the person that they're, do you know what I mean, accountability partners with.
Men, I feel like the accountability thing, sorry to cut your competition.
Yeah, rather than you actually pursuing your goals.
That the gym.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But is that bad though? As long as you get to the goal.
Because you get to the goal, innit? By all means necessary.
Until it's what?
Until it turns too toxic. Let me not say toxic, because it's the toxic aspect will always be there. Until it gets too toxic.
I'm gonna give a stupid mad analogy now. Yeah, you see from crude.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, good.
From crude oil to what petrol looks like here, you can say that all the other things before it separates are toxins. But do you know what I mean? It needs to go like. I feel like you see from when stuff goes from crude oil to like the petrol that we use here, like it's mad different type of processes. If and anything that's with that the substance can be seen as a toxin. You can just like. I feel like even if it gets toxic, and as long as you get to your goal, and now the level of toxicity in the sense of like in the whole competition thing, yeah. Because you know a lot of American sports, that's what it feeds off. A lot of American sports, yeah, mad toxic. Like the way the coaches talk to players are not nice. It's like it's very abusive. It is not. And the thing is, like, it's the whole thing of, I feel like obviously we live in a very soft world now, but like it's what they attribute to like tough love and all of that.
And you know what I'm mad, yeah? Because when I see that stuff, I love it. Like I'm on the screen, yeah, watching them shouting, "Don't be a little bitch," and I'm getting pumped at home. I'm at home thinking shit.
That's what I'm saying. I think the toxic aspect will always be there. Now the level of toxicity is now what's in play. You guys may look at that from the outside perspective, look it in and deem like, okay, that is a very volatile, very toxic situation. Let's say I want sports analogy, the US sports analogy, but for them man that's actually there, if them in the situation, they may deem it as a normal level of toxic
until they have PTSD and they can hear you little bitch in their dream, and that's what's waking them up out of sleep.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, but this, I don't know. It's a weird one if you start deciding I want to measure up and stuff. Because I feel like if at the elite level, again at the elite level, if you see the way the coaches talk to people that are making millions of pounds a day, like at the end of the day, like you just have to take. So if that's what it takes to succeed at the top in their sports, you might as well have it from the like. It's what.
And I promise you, it's not even. So actually, let me finish.
No, go on.
I was gonna say, even like from a sporting perspective to like the high level of sport that I played at in football, it's not just at an elite level. Like that form of toxicity in maybe I don't want to say it's just a men thing, but maybe it is in the sense of that form of communication, that tough love, toxic aspect is just a thing that you feel like this is the only way that the point is gonna get across to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like obviously. You want to be good in whatever you do. Yeah. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And everybody, like, I feel like when you play a sport, naturally, you don't ever play a sport and don't think you're good. Do you get what I'm saying? So the person that is mentoring you wants to get the best out of you. And if they think that is the best approach, that's what they're going to take it. So what you will find is, like, the stuff that I'm saying, I'm watching high-level sports people do, that is what's happening at the lower levels. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is the same throughout. Like, that's
it's kind of what works. Or they find that works. In terms of communication, fair enough. Got a question for you, Azzy.
Sure.
And whenever I do this, I think everyone in this room is already expecting me to say something stupid.
Usually,
Why?
Yeah, the way you just phrased
it was way to prepare yourself. Anyways, go on.
Because I like saying stupid stuff.
Uncle
like
K,
saying-
you're
I like-
an angel.
Listen, I'm not taking Uncle K on this. Okay, listen,
That's why I said it on air.
No, I'm not your uncle. My name's YA. I'm not talking about, but yeah, Izzy, do you reckon you know how to flirt?
That's a very good question.
That's a good question. Can I ask a question to answer your question?
Sure,
Or
course you can.
do I have to answer first?
No, you can, but then we'll still go back to the question.
Okay.
No deflection around here, young
Okay.
lady.
Is flirting subjective?
You're a real politician, ain't you?
You're such a politician.
Prime Minister. What question what kind of? I just said in Yoruba, guys. What kind of question is flirting subjective?
Create
I don't
an object.
No, Joe.
Don't give her a way out. Yeah.
No, it's not way out. I'm even backing you.
No, Joe. Ezzy, can you flirt?
Yeah.
Is flirting subjective?
Okay, no. Oh, wait.
It is not subjective, so can you flirt?
No, it is subjective.
I was about to
That's
say,
why-
Oh, is it? So wait. Gio, stop. So you had an answer to this question.
I'm kind of
Wait.
backing you.
I
Listen,
wanted
let
you
me.
to answer.
you're trying to back him.
So flirting being subjective, can you flirt?
Yeah, of course.
Now, subjectively, what does
Very
flirting mean to
fair.
you?
Pardon? Huh? What? Who said that?
Subjectively.
In what situations have you been? Like, say, like obviously, like I feel like the way the dynamic usually works is that like women do like to be approached. But in what situation have you been in where you've let your flirtatious side out so you can sort of be like proactive in that so that you can get that attention? Can you share any with us?
Can I share any?
Can you?
Sugar shaker, oh my God.
Can you? Like, has there ever been a time where you're in a setting? Like, I don't know if you've come into a gathering, like maybe like a games night or something. You've come in and, do you know what I mean? You've seen a length thing over there. And you thought
Those house parties you
like
were
that.
discussing
Do you
before.
I'm done.
do you know what I mean? You thought, like the shade of his skin, you know.
I'm done.
I like for him to, you know. I like for us to get to know each other.
That's not the shit.
He's a sick
Well,
guy.
Yeah, like it's ticked all the boxes for you, you know.
I'm done.
And then you thought,
yeah, there's definitely been a few
Yes.
situations.
So how do you like give off this energy?
How do I give off this energy? Are you asking me?
As he says what I think she's about to say, yeah, I'm not gonna let her live because I hear what girls say about this thing. What? Let me ask you. Let me.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
Strategic positioning.
No. Do you know what? I agree with it, but I'm not really much of a
Strategic.
But should I tell you why I agree with it?
Yeah.
Because obviously women don't really choose the guy they want, innit? Obviously men.
Women therefore choose.
I beg your pardon.
I know that women choose in life.
I hear it, but I think the way women choose, they let the
Strategic
guy that they
positioning,
want.
yeah.
Yeah, they
strategic
choose.
positioning.
That we
They
let him
the guy-
know
Yeah.
that he needs
You
to
can
like.
get
her
your-
choosing though.
That is shit choosing. That's
But that's
that's
strategic.
Oh my God, you don't know letting this girl answer the question. I want her to answer.
I'm done.
and I even allow you wiggle gun.
Okay, but that's-
Politicians do.
You know, like,
I'm done. But that's strategic positioning. Okay, if that's the case, then I guess I'm like
Yeah,
a
but
bit of a strategic.
but you're not giving us this whole flirting thing that you say you can
do you want like
now.
a whole
like.
handbook? Is that what you're asking me? Like,
Listen, I'd like a mind map. Like, do you know what I mean? You give me, do you know what I mean? Something I can teach my daughters.
something you can teach your daughters.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Try to call me, yeah. You didn't know I was.
I'm done.
I said you shot back. Come on.
Okay, so it depends on the situation. For example, when I was at uni, oh shit, am I gonna give it away?
Goddamn.
Anecdote.
Goddamn.
Trying to get bagged.
I'm proper thinking about this.
He's
Okay,
not trying to
cool.
get bagged.
All right, cool. When I was at uni, obviously, like Leicester's, I want to say it's big, but it's still kind of small because everyone still kind of knows of each other, knows each other. So obviously, you kind of know like the circles that people frequent, the places they frequent, etc., etc. So one thing that I definitely used to do is if I know that a person that I might be interested in, or actually let's say for example someone met me and I was interested in that person, if they approach me and I know for sure 100% that I'm going to see them again, I'm not giving out a snap or a number.
Okay.
Because when you see me again, you're going to talk to me and you're going to think back to that last time that you spoke to me and I didn't give you a number or a
Let's
snap.
dive into that.
Wait. Again, you're not. Before you dive into that,
Is that not answering your question?
I still want like a face to like. I want imagery. I want
don't know
the
if I can
energies
get
that are
an
being
image
given,
of
like,
you.
I know some back and forth, but I don't think we're gonna get that out of you. So I'll let you.
Let's dive right into it. Let me
She ain't trying to get bagged.
She's trying to get back
It's not at all.
Let me understand what you said.
Yeah.
You said if you've met a guy
Yeah.
and then you've
that I'm interested
that
in.
you're interested
Yeah, that I'm
in,
interested in.
you always had a conversation. If you've had a conversation,
Yeah.
you haven't given out the snap in that initial conversation
Because I know I'm going to see him
because you
again.
know you're going to see him again.
Yeah. What's the guarantee that he's going to speak to me?
What's the guarantee he's going to speak to you? But there is a high guarantee because like Mandema, in fact, but there's a high chance that he's going to come chat to you. But even this whole I want you to, because for me that's like how do I say it politically correct? That's like denying someone so they want it more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's the lads.
Yeah. What's
Like,
wrong
I
with that?
don't want that. But because you can give off an
It's all about
energy.
the chase,
But
babe.
that's the assumption. But
You can
that's
give off
the
an
assumption that you've
like-
made, though.
You can someone can give
Why?
off the energy that they're interested in you and still not give you the thing then.
No, that's true. That's the point. But if my guy, if you're speaking and let's say he's read the signs that you're interested in him, and then he's now become interested in you, he's asked for your snap. You both have done this flirty way of saying no. What's the guarantee that my man is now not irritated that you didn't give him the snap, or let's say you're playing the quote unquote hard to get, for lack of a better phrase, and my guy decides to go about his business, go pursue someone else.
Okay, first of all, the reason why I didn't actually answer your first question is because I feel like you guys would find my first interaction with a guy I'm interested in so boring.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
And that's my guarantee that they're going to speak to me again.
Because the first interaction was
Because of
boring.
the first, not it's boring, but the type of conversation I would hold with that person, I know that they would be interested in speaking to me again.
The fact that they didn't, let's say,
Energy.
yeah, honestly, that's
No, it's
that's
not even that, but do you know what it is? For example, like,
Said my source is undeniable.
do you know what? It's not even
That's
that.
what I
But
heard.
They know.
She said,
Ask
I'm the
man about me.
I'm the blueprint.
do you know what it is? I think I even said this on the last podcast with you, Benga, when I was here. I'm the type of person, I like to filter people out very quickly. Friends, guys, everyone. If I meet you and you're interested in me, I'm going to ask you a mad question and I'll feel no way about it because I genuinely want to know.
Give us an example of the mad question.
For example, okay, how does it usually work? A guy walks up to you, he's like, like, what's your name? Then I'll just be like, the usual, what's your name? He might tell me. Then I'll ask him, like, why have you approached me? Is it
Interview questions.
No, I will genuinely ask that. Why have you approached me? Like, I will genuinely ask
no, but that why have you approached me?
No, because what is it?
I'll be like, no, but why? It's true.
Why is it me? We're in Blueprint. There's 2,000 people. Why out of everyone is it me that you've come to?
Can I honestly?
I want to know. And if you're stuttering, why?
Wait.
Honestly, yeah.
Wait. So is it?
I'm not talking to a girl that's asking me if.
No. The why.
Exactly, and that's fine, and that's how I
But
felt with him out.
that's how she feels. So is it
Do you
the
get what I
why?
mean?
Is it why as in what you want from me, or is it why as in why me?
No, it's just out of interest. Like, what is it about
if I
me
went
that
to
why
caught
me?
your
So
eye?
why is it
applying
me?
to a job.
Yeah, like,
Cool.
what is it about
So
me?
okay, no. The way she phrased it is what is because
What do you want from me?
Yeah, no.
not
It's not even that. It's like why have you approached me? It was on.
It
a-
wouldn't be
on
in a rude way, but it would just be out of genuine interest.
It was why me? Why are you attracted to me?
I get it.
Like,
Or
so
if it's like,
that's what I'm saying.
if she goes like, why are you chatting to me?
I'm not gonna be like,
But
why are you chatting to me?
But like more time, I'm just gonna give it like a sweet answer anyway.
yeah, that's fine,
Might just
but
be like,
that's-
Yeah, but
I've seen you, I think
from
you're
my
late. Like
understanding-
that's what I'm saying.
From my understanding, you're looking for
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking.
But you know what? That's fine because that's honesty. That's honesty.
No, but
then
first
I know
of all,
I'm
yeah,
not
no
gonna
one's
ask you-
saying,
Yeah, but
no
no
one's saying
one's
cheeks
answering
to you in
that.
the
But that's
first
fine. But that's
minute.
the first question in a set. That's not the only question I'm asking.
No one's saying
Yeah,
cheeks to you.
that's why I was just busting up. Because
The
the guy that's
fuck?
thinking- I was thinking, you ask a guy that comes to move to you, why have you approached me? Yeah. He can't answer it honestly, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Depends what he wants.
That's what I was
And
yeah, oh, yeah, true. Depends
to
what
be
he
fair,
wants,
like if a guy sees you as a potential in general, no one is saying, well, I've come to you today, miss, because I feel as though you're potentially in my future. Everyone's just gonna be like, I've seen you, like, do you know what I mean? Like, think you're attractive, and I thought, like, let's have a conversation. End of the day, that's max what anyone's doing. But I understand what you're saying now. But you see the way you said it initially.
That's what I'm saying. It
I was
threw
like, if you
everyone
say,
off.
yeah, if you ask me like an interview question, I'm literally
No,
walking
it's
away
not-
from you.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
not
It
gonna
threw
be like an
everyone
interview
off.
Because in my head, I'm thinking, like, we're not. It's not the same kind of sort
Yeah.
of interactions that
It
we
won't
have.
be like an interview vibe where
But
I'm
like-
not gonna be rude to you or
Yeah.
anything.
But like more
like
time,
that.
someone, but you know,
It's
like,
just me
but you know,
asking
but you know how
genuine
guys are though. If you ask a guy why have you, like, if you try to find out what, so why are you chatting to him? It's like, Because I think you're nice. Like that, it's going to be sweet stuff anyways. What are you finding out from there?
But that's the first question in a set of questions.
True.
I can't filter you out by you telling me that I'm attractive, because I would hope that you've only approached me because
So
Yeah.
is it right to say that I'm assuming it's not more so the answer is the energy?
Yeah,
So if it's the case that if she asks, oh, why have you approached me on a very respectful tip, not disrespectful.
Sometimes I like
and then
certain,
my-
I like different energies to be honest.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get like a Vim energy, but like they're giving you Vim out of like a flirtatious
Yeah,
thing.
but
To be
if
honest, I
my
don't think
if
I
my
have
guy was
fame
Nigerian
with
yeah, but
them kind of situations.
no, but
What was it you one did that one that went to go and jump on
He's like, oh, he wants affection.
Is it affection you want? Yeah.
you want
I can give you affection.
listen. There's no you want the side that will be tolerated. You understand?
I'm from Congo, Senegal, and Benin.
Congo, clearly it's not just a Nigerian girl thing. It's clearly it's a Congo. Senegal.
But I'm not a Vim type of person though. That's the only thing. I don't think
yeah.
I don't think I'm like too
Mm.
thingy. I just like
calm
I'm
with it.
inquisitive. I just like to ask people questions. That's all. You know.
Yeah, but sure. I didn't get that flirt question, that one. But
No,
like,
I would ask that question, then I would move on to some other questions. I'd obviously ask them about themselves. You know, what do you do? Like, what kind of things are you interested in, etc., etc.
to be fair, with the confidence that you've answered with, I think you can definitely flirt. So it's fine.
I think you'll even catch them off guard more time.
That's one thing about me. It might be a toxic trait though. I like to catch people off guard.
Is that a bad thing?
Probably.
Is it?
I don't know.
How can it be a bad thing though?
Why not?
The toxic
Because
trait.
why are you always trying to catch people off guard?
No,
That's
but
a bit weird.
for me,
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no.
It's a bit weird, but then at the
I'm
same
not-
time,
Yeah, go.
under pressure or in weird situations, people like show themselves.
Yeah,
innit?
trust me, they show little bits that.
Yeah, so that's,
that's
I guess
true.
that's why I'm like that as well.
what do you mean? Sorry.
I don't know.
Ask more about that.
Ezzy, like, obviously, we've asked you onto the pod for more reasons than the fact that, do you know what I mean, you can flirt on there, do you know what I mean? Believe it or not, we're more than that, do you know what I mean, over here. Yeah, we're more than the ass eating and all of that. But like, I would like you to
That was on this pod.
let the listeners know, like, who you are, what it is that you do. I know about your platform in general, but yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm Ezzy Prose. Most people just call me Ezzy or Esther. I'm a politics and international relations graduate, and I currently work in politics as well. And then I also make content regarding Black women, Black people in general. And yeah, politics is more than my 9 to 5.
Cool.
And the personal is the political. That's all.
Amazing.
I am a guest podcaster, guest writer, guest radio star.
Sorry.
I'm done. But yeah, that's basically what I do. Talk about Black women a lot, talk about politics a lot. Just trying to teach people that politics is more than governmental politics, basically.
Fair enough. Can I ask, what actually got you into that? So, like, how did this become a passion for you?
You know, I never know how to answer this question.
That's
And I
fair
feel like that's dumb because whenever you go somewhere and you introduce yourself, people always ask you, how did you get into it? So I feel like I really need to practice or form some sort
That's
of,
fine.
answer. But usually I just talk about my experience and the fact that I got into this blackness, talking about Black women through my experience, because that is my lived experience being a Black woman. You know, I was made very aware that I was a Black woman from a very young age, being in a predominantly white school. And yeah, I've just always been interested in politics, in helping people. That's always been my interest, especially helping people that look like me.
Fair enough.
So,
Fair
yeah.
enough. Like, how did you end up studying politics at uni, though?
So I'm quite an organised person. Not quite. Organisation is literally like my life. So I knew that I was going to study politics and international relations from year 11. And that's actually how I picked my A-levels. I picked my A-levels based on the requirements to study politics and international relations.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't even remember how I got so interested in. I think I was reading like the course descriptions of politics and IO at uni, and I was just so fascinated, like just absolutely fascinated, and I just went for it. So I've studied politics since year 12 and history since year 10, because the two obviously go hand in hand.
Yeah, they're your interests. That's amazing. I think you've made an amazing platform for yourself. But I'm actually gonna let you go and talk about. I could intro it because there's been like it's
Some stuff going on.
Yeah, it's amazing that we have you here today, because I don't know.
It's right on time, innit?
Right on time.
Perfect timing. There's a lot of stuff going on around like Black women and
Yeah.
representation in the media right
Yep,
now.
yep, yep.
I think We've got the Rachel Humes. Is that
Rochelle Humes.
Rochelle Humes.
Rachel, Jesus Christ.
We've got the little mixer as well.
Not a little mix.
Can you not do that? We're not doing that. What's my girl's
Her
name?
name's Leanne Pinner.
Yeah.
So we've got Leanne as well. I think it was clear that I'm messing up their names. I don't know why you don't want to
You
call
said
me out,
Rachel. Only when you said Rachel, me too. If I go
Nah,
on,
the Rachel one, I thought you just made a mistake, to be fair. But
It was-
Leanne,
oh,
it
yeah.
was a mistake.
Leanne, I knew you, boy, there.
No, I didn't remember her name, so I just thought like you lot knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got all of that in the media now, talking about.
Do you know what? I don't even know
representation.
if I'm ready to talk about that because I feel like it actually hurt me when I saw the
swear.
situation. I was actually hurt. Like,
Fair enough. Can I?
give a quick description of what are going for
Yeah,
the
doesn't
situation
know.
for them ones that don't know about the.
So briefly, we found out that Rochelle Humes is doing I think it's a documentary. Is it documentary?
documentary.
Let me say the word right. I think it's a documentary with regards to the rates at which black women die, pregnant black women die at the hands of the NHS, or at the hands of healthcare.
Mhm.
Black women, to be specific. Bearing in mind, Rochelle Humes is a mixed race
Mm-hmm.
woman, which is important because in the UK we don't go by the one drop rule. The one drop rule means basically in America, if you have like 1% of blackness, you are considered black.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's not the same thing.
How comes?
Black people and mixed race people have different statistics. So there's different statistics of pregnant black women dying at the hands of healthcare to mixed race.
That's a
The
good
numbers-
point. Whereas
the numbers
in
are
America,
different as well.
is it like I think they just generalize as
They mix
African
everyone in
American.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
If you have
Yeah.
1% of blackness in America, like it's fine for you to say you're black. Obviously, not everybody would agree with you that you're black.
Yeah, but.
But that's a
But
consensus.
it's
But
okay.
here, like, I see what you're saying because I know in the forms when we feel here, it's like black, mixed race, white.
Yeah.
So it's not
Same,
like
same.
so they have theirs like sort of like
Category.
out there as
So
well.
same here.
And so like I think obviously there was a lot of
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed out the whole controversial bit.
Yeah.
The
Sorry.
controversial bit was the fact that there was a dark-skinned black woman that usually her life's work in politics we like to say doing the work. Her life's work is based around black women and especially pregnant black women. I think in healthcare I don't really know too much about her, but I know her name is Candice Brainsworth.
I was going to say Cassie.
I can't say her name.
Something like
Brave,
that. Something like that. I'm gonna search her name and give her accolades and say it properly in a second. But yeah, that's her life's work. So I think the opportunity was taken away from her. I think she did like a lot of research and stuff regarding
It was like
it.
9 months if I read it correctly.
About 9 months of research, and just to find out that she was kicked off the project, and it was given to Rochelle Humes, who, as far as I know, does not talk about black women, does not really have many dealings with the black community, but somehow, you know, has to please the non-black viewers of that documentary. So yeah,
fair enough.
that's basically what's happening.
There's a lot to unpack.
There's, yeah.
Quite
Not to make you the sole voice of black women in the country,
Yeah.
but it's just I feel like if we're gonna talk about all of these issues, it makes sense to have. Well, it like actually makes sense for us to discuss all of it
Yeah.
with you. When I saw I'm just gonna speak on what because I feel like a lot of the time, I come from a place of privilege, in the sense that as a man, I'm never gonna have to carry a child. I'm never gonna have to have my life in the hands of people, whereby like I might die just because I was bringing like life into this world,
A brown life.
and then I would never
Let's
have
make
to.
the distinguishment.
Sorry.
I said the brown life.
Brown
Let's
black
make the
life,
distinguishment.
Oh yeah, and also that I'm not gonna have to face the prejudice and the prejudice of the NHS as a pregnant black woman.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna there's so much. So like I'm gonna be very honest with you. When I saw the uproar of what happened, I didn't immediately feel black women's pain because I was, in all honesty, my initial, this is gonna be so mad, but I'm gonna be honest. My initial reaction was like, what's everyone shouting about again? 'Cause
What are
the
they
way
talking about again?
the way I'd seen it is that they've given this woman that has some form of a platform some work to do. Let's see the work first before we can sort of talk
talking
about it.
about
But where like a lot of people also spoke about the idea that, you know, black women are constantly erased in the media.
Yep.
Like there is not enough representation so for us to actually even feel their to see them in that light. Do you know what I mean? There's never any opportunity to see black women in such a vulnerable light. I began to actually understand why there was such an uproar. But still, I didn't see, like, do you know what I mean? I'm just saying what privilege I had in that situation. But like, can you talk us through in general what that's all about? So the whole misrepresentation and the way like the erasure of like of black women and apply in media in general.
So there's two things at play here. There's representation and then there's erasure, both of which are extremely important. I always say that I'm clearly a dark-skinned black woman, and when I was younger, I had, to be honest, till now, I don't have any role models that look like me. Because name me a dark-skinned woman that is of my hue, of my skin tone, that you see successful in the media. It's very rare. There's obviously, this is a whole nother thing with colorism. You know, people try to say that, you know, you can't say that there's a cut-off point to being dark skin, etc., etc. But to some extent, it's very telling when I don't see any dark skinned women in the media that look like me. Do you get it? So there's a lack of representation. Rochelle Humes, what she wants to take on is a fantastic project. It's amazing. But what she's doing is weird because your experience is not the experience of a dark-skinned black woman. That is a lack of representation. Nobody can look at that documentary. A dark-skinned young girl in year 5 can't look at that documentary and say, I want to be a journalist one day. I want to make those type of films because she doesn't see herself in it. That is a lack of representation. Now we have erasure, whereby a woman, this is her life's work. She has dedicated her life to serving people that look like her, is erased from the media. People don't see that voice. People don't hear that voice. Why? Because it doesn't appeal to the masses. It doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look cute. It doesn't look slick. So it's therefore not appealing to the white eye. And that's exactly why she was erased. Okay. And it's problematic because people think it's just a TV show. It's not a TV show. Yeah. It's not a TV show. A lot of the times, I always say this, when people look at Martin Luther King and they look at, you know, like all the civil rights movements and stuff, there were so many women that led those marches, that led movements, but they've been erased from history. And that's what the erasure of black women is. You don't remember their names and you're not supposed to when they did the work. Do you get what I mean? It's not even about accolades, but it's about erasure. Like, how can you leave women out of... like, it just doesn't even make sense to me.
It's due to a construct, and it's very, very deliberate. That's
exactly it. It's deliberate. It's highly deliberate because the type of women we are is not pleasing, or it needs to be cornered away or, you know, boxed away in the back. Do the work, but, you know, don't really let people see you. We understand that you're a hard worker. We understand that what you do is great, you know, just but behind the scenes, just for the viewers, let's put a pretty mixed race girl on, you know, one that can put her hair in an afro but also in a slicked back ponytail if she wants, you know, that kind of thing. She can rock a red lip without it being weird, that kind of thing.
Do you feel like where all of this cut might stem from is the idea that I think is the dare that, you know, black women might actually be powerful, and like I feel like oppression, when it's so structured and is so organized, is because you can see what that group can actually do when they're empowered. So like, is that, because I actually never knew that there was a whole bunch of black women erased from the civil rights.
There's one that I always talk about, and I literally can't believe that I've forgotten her name, but I'm going to find it right now. By the way, that lady's name is Candice Brathwaite, just to say it correctly.
Candice Brathwaite.
Big up Candice.
But yeah, even I remember someone talking about the fact that Rosa Parks wasn't the first lady to sit on the bus, but she was a lighter skin tone than the first lady that actually was sat on the bus and refused to get up. But obviously she's the one that would be captured in the media because it's a bit more pleasing to the eye. There's so many black women worked for civil rights. The civil rights movement, in fact, let's be real, no movement that goes against oppression would be what it is without women. That's women, period. Now, when we talk about blackness and liberating black people from oppression, no movement would be what it was without black women, and that's on period. Absolutely.
That's on period.
It's that black women know how to mobilize. They know how to get people together. Black men can, let me not even generalize and say like black men can't, because they obviously can. But that's one thing that black women can do, and they do it well. Black Lives Matter is predominantly for men. It's mostly black men that die. But if you look at the movements, it's mostly black women that march, mostly black women that set up the GoFundMes, that set up the pages, that do the Instagram, the infographics, all of that. It's all black women.
We saw it last year, didn't we?
Shout out to Naomi.
Yeah.
It was Naomi.
What's her name?
Is that one of your friends or someone that you
know? No, she was the girl that
influencer.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, she did a lot.
I think she was on the BLM. brought the biggest BLM march for everyone to come out and
I
stuff.
saw, yeah, really
And obviously,
great,
and
great
then
stuff.
other people championed off of that. So you're
Some
right.
great
Even till
stuff.
today, we don't really go anywhere without our black beautiful queens. And I've
Yeah.
said that to be problematic, by the way. Because we need to
Yeah,
start.
like American.
Yeah. Every time
Beautiful
I say it,
black
I want
queen.
everyone to say that I'm saying it to be ironic in the
Yeah.
sense that,
Yeah, definitely.
like, we don't see these women as people. We don't
Yeah,
treat
of
them like
course.
human beings, but we're very
Exactly.
happy to put them on the pedestal because. Do you know what I mean? So that they can sacrifice and suffer for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not give
And-
them the.
Yeah.
The rights of a
recognition,
woman.
yeah,
Yeah. Like,
literally.
and
No,
it's
Literally.
it's mad ingrained in us. I like while you look up what you're looking at, I need to talk about the Leanne
Pinnock situation.
Pinnock
So I think
situation.
she's doing a documentary on colorism.
Yeah, she was doing.
Oh,
Like-
okay, let me answer. There's two different documentaries.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are,
there's
Two
two.
different
Yeah.
documentaries. Alright, cool.
My commentary on Leanne really, See-
And her was on colorism.
Yeah.
I can understand, like why people have a problem with light skinned mixed race lady doing a documentary on colorism, but I don't like how social media decides to sort of like discredit and strip and sort of like, because I don't feel like there's one way of doing things. But on the other hand, I can understand that where those emotions come from is deep. See, again, I am privileged enough not to be able to completely feel all of that. Does that make sense? Not that colorism
I was
doesn't.
about to say it's definitely prevalent amongst black men.
men,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think obviously in terms of
In terms of the
how
conversation,
detrimental
magnitude,
it is,
yeah,
the
yeah,
magnitude
yeah,
is-
yeah,
is
yeah.
probably
especially
more.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's now like,
yeah.
how they link that to beauty, etc.
Yeah,
So,
like if we
it's
go into
therefore-
all of that, like
Yeah.
me as a black man, I can be dark as dark, but like every other race is gonna fetishize me because apparently they see me as a strong, masculine figure
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
how black
But
black
then
men are
other time you
portrayed.
could flip that, because I remember one time I saw a picture of there was a black guy in the back of I forgot what Obama's daughter's name was, Sasha, I think it was. There was a black guy in the back of the photo, and people said he looks dangerous. He looks like. he
Oh
looks
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's
People
the
said-
whole
and that was
predatory
largely
side of
based on the-
things.
and like that
he
was
was dark.
that was in the effect of colorism. So I'm saying it worked. It definitely
It works both ways.
It does.
It
But
does.
what I was gonna point out there though is that like, even though that's one aspect, in the sense of how beauty and
Oh,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah,
like
no, I get you, yeah.
like is how it affects.
Perceived.
Yeah, and how that affects
It's less
women
so.
in general.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
To say the other day, where's that?
No, I want to give you an opportunity because when I didn't even know it was two different documentaries.
Yeah.
Because initially, when I first saw the whole thing on the TL is a very dangerous place. When I first saw the whole
Very.
thing on the TL, I was.
No one let me finish to my own.
Oh, Emma Bino, go on, sir.
Sorry.
So go on,
It
please,
was
please,
even me
please,
that
please,
got you
please,
off.
please.
Sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I'm happy that we're back. Anyways, yeah, as I was saying,
The thing is, he knew that the toxicity in both of us was not gonna let that run. So I don't understand. Go on. We've given you the platform. Go and speak.
first of all, yeah,
Oh, message I gave it. He sonned you. He turned you into his son.
Go on.
I'm gonna wait for everyone to behave like mature members of this cast. At which point I will continue my commentary.
You're not sonning me. But continue.
He's not a leader of us.
What will be here all night?
Honestly, why should be here?
Alright, go on, guys. Sorry.
Nah. But what I was saying, what my whole thing, was you see the way Twitter went and turned around and treated Leanne after the whole kind of support and backing they'd given her from when she came out to talk about her treatment within Little Mix, and I think that was actually the entry gate. That's what made Misha B come out and speak about her
Let's not
experience as
discuss
well.
that Misha beating because that thing would irate me today. I
Yeah,
won't
me
lie to you.
too.
It-
Wait,
like-
sorry, can I ask a question? Because I don't really like follow Little Mix. I wasn't aware of the whole Leanne thing, but what exactly was her experience?
Oh,
like
she
with-
just in the midst of white girls, like
Okay,
they
yeah.
picked her out, and
But
like she's
was she the only white girl there?
She's the only
Sorry, was she the only mixed race girl there?
but she was darker than the other
Isn't
one.
What about
Leanne
the one that
black?
left?
I think Leanne might
Is
be
Leanne black?
but she's light skinned.
Okay. I'm not sure.
I think she is because I
Please,
think
let's
that was the
double check.
issue with the colorism. But I don't know. Let me check because let me not come and say.
Also, in terms of what Colour was saying, and to back it up, was I think it was a thing where she acknowledged her blackness and she also acknowledged the fact that her struggles would have been harder if she was darker skinned.
Yeah,
So it was just, I think,
she spoke on it.
yeah,
and
it
like
was a
she.
bit of a weird parallel to see people turn on that.
So that's my problem. Like you see, where I feel like everyone might have given, they were clapping for her to like champion this cause or whatever in whatever sphere that she's in. Fair enough, she might not be the most qualified to go on and talk about, to make a whole documentary about colorism. But you see, I feel like the way we as a community, as a culture, react to it is very important. The constant idea that you can be mad that toxicity is gonna breed something good because you want
Attacking
immediate
people.
change. It's crazy, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you want to tell someone not to do something, and then you're gonna attack them in such a way that's gonna affect their mental health.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And then there's the whole. I think I'm just gonna jump into what we were speaking about earlier on about where there is no space. There is no space for growth for human beings. So
that's my biggest problem that I find a lot of days.
so now, where she's spoken up, where people have gone against her, her husband, or I think a boyfriend or a partner, whatever,
Fiance,
has spoken up to try to back her or whatever,
And
as
they brought up his
a,
colorist
and
tweets.
then they brought up his colorist tweets.
Which I saw.
So now we're in 2021, they were what 2012 and
Yeah.
stuff. Now I am obviously like I'm not here screaming for the colorist imp in it. I'm not here saying, oh yeah, be colorist and colorism go. Or we wouldn't. Life is so good to be a colorist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just pointing this out, But the very idea, this constant idea that like someone cannot be a different person. Especially when a lot of people that are criticizing them, like not few months ago, was finding tweets about everybody.
Wake up.
Everybody.
Wake up.
Everybody. Everyone's champions. That champions blackness now. That's representation now that made certain mistakes back in the day, where like people can choose their favorites and say, oh, that person's allowed to grow and that person's allowed to have certain views then and have better views now. This person, they're not. The way everyone picks and chooses. The way we do on social media, as I've said so many times, it's mad.
Do you know what it is? I completely agree with you. I think the abuse is just unwarranted. Trolls, I don't understand. This whole attacking people, I don't get it. But what I will say is, it's 2021 and dark-skinned black women are tired.
That's it.
They're tired. People say, when we talk about like the social aspect of politics and like all this kind of stuff, blackness, there's a phrase that's used called that says this work is death work, which literally means people think that it's just words. People think, oh yeah, talking about black bitches and dark skinned women are ugly, etc., etc. They think it's just work. It's not work. It's not just words. Sorry, people die because of these things.
Yeah, facts.
There's women that kill themselves. Suicide rates in darker skinned women are much higher. Do you know what I mean? Than lighter skinned women. They're more. I'm even getting sad thinking about it, but they're more susceptible to like abuse, violence, sexual violence, all of these things, because dark-skinned women's bodies are looked at as disposable. Do you get what I mean? Dark-skinned women are tired. They're tired of every single day. Literally, like this morning, I went on Twitter, as you do, as everybody does in the morning, and I saw that guy's tweets. I'm tired of going on Twitter every single day, and it's something against me because it feels like it's me. Do you get what I mean? Even though like obviously the abuse, I'm not gonna go and like make a fake Twitter account and start trolling people. I don't know how people could ever think that trying to hurt someone that's hurt you makes sense.
Make it better,
It's just ridiculous. But people are tired. Dark-skinned black women are tired. We're tired.
Because even I dropped in my man's. I didn't know that the Leanne and Thingy, they were two different documentaries, but I dropped in a screenshot of her man, Leanne's man, the colorist screenshots. I was with me, I like to see a broad spectrum of things. So with me, I was like, okay, the tweets are from 2012. I believe in growth. Definitely. You can't, let's say, hold the tweets that my guy ran from you basically can't hold the 2012 tweets against him. My guy has evolved since then. However,
but has he evolved though? That's the other thing.
Okay, that's one side of the spectrum. But as black women, I can't even blame them for attacking my man, because it is something firstly that affects them, and it's something that's constant. Black women are always, let's say, attacked based on the color of the skin on different spectrums or on different levels of thingy. So I can't necessarily say that them attacking him is necessarily the bad thing to do. I may not necessarily agree with the methods, but it's the outlet. Something's going to have to give. You can't keep on piling on something expecting the tower not to collapse.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
No. I'll speak a little bit. The only reason why I don't agree with that is it's what's the word I'm thinking of? It's too it's too hypocritical for you to pick and choose who you're allowed to forgive.
But it's interesting that black women are not allowed to be hypocritical. Black women have to forgive. Why?
I think
Black women. No, do you know what it is? No, I get exactly. It's for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
fair enough if it could be against the LGBTQ community, if it's
Yeah.
racism. But why is it that the oppressed group always has to forgive? Why?
I'm not even saying that.
Why should we be above it?
I'm not even saying that because I'm with the fuckery. Don't get twisted.
done.
Innit? No,
Man said
these
I'm
men
with
know
it.
me. I'm with the fuckery. Don't like if someone's done you wrong, by all means. I'm just saying, yeah. For me, it is strange, yeah. Like for you to. And to be fair, I'm speaking also about this specific case because her fiance Andre Gray, I'm actually a fan of his because of football.
Okay.
So essentially, in some sense, there's a bias there. But he is somebody that has changed. He's apologized. He is for black people. He does a lot. So I find it weird for you to almost completely forget, disregard what man has been doing to change and turn his life around.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
But I'm also on the sense of that I don't really agree with the idea that, oh my God, my mind's gone blank.
No, I get what you're saying. Abuse is never warranted. You
Yeah,
don't agree
yeah,
with
but
abuse. It's not.
the thing,
It shouldn't be a
and
thing.
that's where we disagree. I don't dispute the fact that my guy's changed. My guy can be doing the most for the black people and black as a culture. However, my thing is more so you can't now dictate to the way someone is now offended by something. Do you get what I'm saying? So as black women, they've now seen the situation's already been tense from the moment that Leanne and my girl said that they're going to do documentaries, which as black women they don't think they should do, because the truth of the matter is the Leanne one's multiple different situation because it's about colorism. But in terms of black maternal deaths, my darling, you're not black. You're, let me not say that. You're black, but you're not you're mixed race black. You're not black. You're not like full black. And then the statistics are different. You're going to be treated different to us, so I can't identify with you. So you're already pissed off about that. Then from my man to let's say what he said, and I think it was even the way he even
tried
said,
to add salt to it because it's almost that he was insulting
it's the
people
way he
for being
said it. I think
outraged.
even pissed him even more. That made him even now dig up my.
I think in what was very clear, and this is not me defending him, I think one, he was a partner trying to defend his partner, and I think he was also clearly not as articulate as
that's what I'm saying. I'm not even this. That the thing is, that's what I'm saying. My guy can be doing the most for the black culture, and I don't necessarily think it was warranted, the attack against him. But you can't necessarily say that black women's response in general, against him or not, black women's response was unjustified, or it was not necessarily they shouldn't have done that, because you can't tell them how to respond against something that's affected them.
And the thing I will say is both of the situations are as problematic as each other, because I don't understand why Leanne is doing a document. She's fully black, by the way. I think she's from Barbados and another Caribbean island, but I don't understand why she's doing a documentary on colorism. And people can say, yeah, she's black. Maybe she hasn't faced colorism, and maybe she's not going to talk about herself in the documentary, which is fine. Maybe she has the resources to do the documentary and other dark-skinned women don't, which is fine. But in that case, give space. You don't always have to hold the microphone. You can pass it on to somebody else. Do you get what I mean? You don't always have to be the one speaking or the one on screen or the one like showing that you can say something. If you have the resources, it is good to sometimes give space and say, do you know what? I want to do a documentary on colorism. I want to pay for it. I want to do X, Y, Z. I want to produce it. But I'm actually going to give the mic to a dark-skinned woman and let her speak on her experiences, because I don't live the same thing that she lives. And that's okay. It's okay to say that. Do you get what I mean?
Go again.
The one thing I was going to say in relation to black men with colorism was, I think the biggest problem that this is a bit away from the topic, but it links in, but I think the biggest problem I've noticed, even thinking back on personal experiences, that a lot of young black men think that being complicit isn't a problem, in the sense of that a lot of young black men, I think it's a thing of that where something is socially acceptable, they go along with the trend, or often it's the idea that, okay, my brethren's saying it, but I'm not saying it, so it's all right. So the idea that you can be quiet and not speak out against it is all right. So I think that's one of the biggest problems that I think is with young black men in regards to the colorism thing, because it's a lot of the time is that you see people say, oh, this is what was acceptable at the time, so I joined in, and I've done it. Or it's just the idea that, you know what, you heard somebody talking mad and you decided to say nothing. But then the problem with that is that you start to internalize all those things that you're hearing. You know what I'm saying? So I think one of the biggest problems I think with a lot of young black men is just complicity. They think that it is enough just to not say anything and be there.
It's not.
But it's not enough. If you ask a lot of young black men, have you ever said anything against black women? They'll probably tell you no.
Yeah.
And they might not be lying.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard anybody say something mad about black women? They'll tell you yes.
Have you ever defended a black woman?
A lot of them
Probably
will tell
not.
you yes, but they're probably lying.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Exactly.
No, that's the reality of it. You feel me? Like,
Exactly.
they probably haven't, unfortunately. And obviously, I mean, give or take, age is an excuse, but you know, like it's just a thing that I think the earlier we teach it to young black men that, you know what, this is not a thing that you should be okay to be around. You need to speak up. The more comfortable they get with that idea also. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's a conversation that probably, like, I know as a young'un, that was a conversation I never had. I never had an older tell me that, you know what, bro, like, if you hear someone saying, don't do it.
Most of our elders weren't even living that reality.
Yeah.
We need to even realize that a lot of these things are sort of like the whole idea of loving your blackness here is not as old as you think.
Exactly.
Man, I think I've said this before. Like I've had all the black people in the workplace, like and the way they represent themselves as a black individual might not be how I will do the same. Does that make sense? Because the way it looked like for that generation is not the way that we're the ones that taking it back. Do you understand? So where that it's not for us to then teach it down, because we're kind of the ones that are knowing, we're the ones that are informed, that are living a reality where we can sort of like cover this whole rhetoric. But like, guys, we're essentially running out of time.
Goddamn, sorry.
We're like,
we're like
basically, we're gonna have to have Ezzy down again and speak to us about and have these kind of conversations. Ezzy, is there anything that you're sort of working on now that, or like that you're gonna be working on in the future that you're trying to promote or whatever?
Yeah, so I have unfortunately, like, tickets are sold out, but I'm gonna be on the panel of an event next week. Is it next week, the 23rd? I'm basically going to be talking about discrimination in education with a bunch of academics, which is great because it's like uni lecturers, teachers and stuff, which is so cool. And yeah, I can't really think, I really hope I'm not leaving anything out.
What's your IG?
Is there, okay, go.
Obviously I have a YouTube channel. I have a video, actually one of my last videos was on motivations for black feminist thought, where I actually addressed a lot of these issues. That woman that I was talking about that had like tension with Martin Luther King was actually called Ella Baker, by the way. But yeah, I'm Ezzy Prose on everything. That's EZIPROSE on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter. And yeah, I just talk about all things black. I do like little infographics and stuff. And obviously I always say politics is more than my 9 to 5. So I do work in politics and I talk about actual like government and politics as well. But yeah, if you're interested in, you know, the blackness and talking about black women and stuff, that's where you can find me. And yeah, just trying to do a lot of writing and a lot of speaking and stuff. Cool. And yeah, that's all. But thank you guys so much for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you for coming.
Wonderful stuff.
Nice to be with black men that are not afraid to say their opinion.
Oh,
I just see on the Unfiltered podcast, we're not really afraid.
But yeah, want to thank everyone for listening in. Thank the guests for coming. Thank the man them for here bringing all of their opinions. You can follow us on Spotify, Unfiltered Pod. Subscribe to us and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram at UnfilteredPod_. You follow us on Twitter at UnfilteredPod1. From everyone on Unfiltered Pod, we're out. Oh, the man they're back to this time.